Hi, I'm Dave Cut, and you're watching another Comic Chat. What up, guys? Back again today to check out the actual origin story of Cloak and Dagger. I've seen them pop up in a couple comic books or the old show that got canceled. But yeah, so let's dive in the encyclopedia and take a look at Cloak and Dagger. So their real names are Tyrone Johnson and she is Tandy Bowen. They're both vigilantes. Their base is the Holy Ghost Church, New York City. Cloak's height is 6 foot. Dagger's height 5'5". Cloak's weight is 175 pounds, and Dagger's weight is she's only 115 pounds. Eyes, Cloak has brown eyes. Dagger has blue. Hair, Cloak has black, of course. Dagger has blonde. And their first appearance was the Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 64, March of 1982. So they've been around for a little bit. So their powers, Cloak can open a portal into the Dark Force dimension. He can project foes into this dimension and teleport himself and others, while Dagger projects psionic energy as daggers of light, which deprive a victim of some life energy and can also cleanse people of drugs and poison. So it cuts that healing factor a little bit. All right. And then they have like a short paragraph on. So Cloak and Dagger. Tyrone Johnson was a teenager whose stutter tragically prevented him from saving his friend Billy from being mistakenly shot as a thief by a policeman. Tandy Bowen felt neglected and unloved by her wealthy mother. Johnson and Bowen each ran away from home and met each other upon arriving in New York City at the Port Authority bus terminal. They were offered a place to stay by men who worked for Simon Marshall, an unscrupulous chemist who was developing a new highly addictive drug for the Magia. Marshall was testing the drug on captured runaways, but whereas the drug killed the other runaways, it activated Johnson and Bowen's latent mutant abilities. Realizing he now resembled a living shadow, Johnson wrapped himself in fabric. He then entrapped some of Marshall's men in blackness with his cloak, while Bowen struck others down with daggers of light. Johnson and Bowen decided to use their superhuman powers to save children and teenagers from drug dealers and other criminals and became the vigilante duo called Cloak and Dagger. They briefly became the part of Norman Osborn's Dark X-Men and have assisted Spider-Man on several occasions. We see they have little pictures. Despite differing backgrounds, the Runaways, Tyrone Johnson and Tandy Bowen, became the closest of friends. They do become lovers eventually as well and end up together. Down below it says, Dagger's light knives are manifestations of the life energy that resides with all living beings. Dagger generates more of this life energy than normal humans do and uses it to feed Cloak's hunger for such light. Oh, so I do know this. So because Cloak is like living dark dimension, he basically always has this sensational hunger. And in his early days, he was feeding light off of actual people. And then found out that Tandy can give him endless light. So she always helps him. There was this brief issue in 2011 with the Spider Island storyline where Cloak and Dagger actually switched powers. So Tandy had the power of darkness and then Tyrone had the power of light. So I haven't read it personally, but if you want to, it came out in 2011. That's the Spider Island series, so check it out. It sounds kind of interesting, kind of funny. Or if you want to go check out the show, they have 2 seasons out, but like they kind of changed a lot of the story in here. In the show, there was an oil rig or collider that blew up, and then as kids, Tyrone and Tandy both fell in water and became Cloak and Dagger, and then found each other later on and kept finding each other. Or in the story that I just read in the Ultimate series, where she becomes the Ultimates with, Miles Morales Spider-Man, her story is different too, where they were childhood sweethearts and rivals from like early childhood, and on their way to prom, they were actually in a car accident, and the people that found them together kind of kidnapped them and told their parents that they died in that car accident, and then experimented on them and found out that they had this latent mutant ability as well. And that was when they broke out and began being vigilantes as well. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see Cloak and Dagger, the true story of what happened. So yeah, that was Cloak and Dagger. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.